There was an uproar following the 2-game suspension. Roger Goodell tried to backtrack a little bit, coming forward with a 6-game plan. And now today, after this video was released, finally saying, after, by the way, Scott, the team told him he was done, saying that he was suspended. Is this an example of the NFL not being in front of this story?
They blew it. It's simple. They blew it. And Roger Goodell knows he blew it. He knew it. He said as much. I made a mistake. I was tone deaf.
I mean, he kept blowing it, right? Because that video came out hours ago. You know, we saw that this morning. The team is the one that actually moved more quickly than the NFL.
Well, it's because the NFL had already punished him for this infraction. He cannot be punished twice for the same infraction. So it was incumbent upon the team to actually make this happen. What's scary is the fact that the NFL felt some sort of need to suspend him indefinitely. Do they fear that another team would pick him up this year? I mean, you'd think, based on the infraction in the video, that he would be persona non grata for a while. But you wonder, is this the NFL saving face, or do they fear that another team might actually step in and give him a job?
What's your thought on that?
Well, I think it's not so crazy a thought. I mean, this wouldn't be the first time that there would be some sort of serious issue, and then an NFL team would want that player on the field. So it's not crazy. I don't think you're at all off on that. What's interesting really about this is that if you read some of the news that's coming out, it's almost by the moment on this story, there may be more to it, what the NFL saw, when they saw it, and in a PR-heavy league or business, this is a big flaw.
There are a lot of reports out there that say the NFL actually did know what was in that tape and chose to look the other way. The NFL has told me, as I'm sure they've told you, no, we didn't know until today what was really on video. What's your gut reaction, Lee, to that?
That this is just a tough one for a business that is so public relations savvy, so public relations heavy. It seems like a surprise, but this is the kind of thing that happens to a business that's at the top, that thinks it can play a certain way at a certain level.
Let's remind everybody, people forget, National Football League is not a democracy. This is not everybody gets treated the same. Star quarterbacks by their team in the league get different treatment. If Ray Rice was a run-of-the-mill third-string running back, he would have been cut after the initial infraction. He is not that. He is a top-line player. That is why the team in the league would go easier on him, especially the team. They need him on the field. This is about winning. It's not a democracy. Never forget that.
But that's a sad fact. I mean, it's a sad fact.
But it's the fact of
I think as
sports.
a business, it comes back to hurt them in a much bigger way. Because what are female fans to think then? Or a guy who's married to a woman or who has daughters?
Go on NFL,
Trish,
go on NFL Shop. Go on NFLshop.com right now. Your Ray Rice jerseys are still available, as well as the women's collection. Still available, not taken off the shop yet.
Well, they should be, and I certainly hope that we're not seeing people buy them.
They might be, but they're still there right now.
But it is an issue for a business. I mean, the reality is, as Scott says, you know, look, they want to look the other way because this guy brings in so much money. But at some point, if you're Roger Goodell, you got to think about the greater good of your entire industry in your entire league. Do you not, Lee?
You absolutely do, but I think that's exactly what he was thinking about, and figuring that that the secret wouldn't get out. You know, there's a great story about Alan Mullally when he joined Ford and they were having all these problems, and he just told everybody, you know, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot manage a secret. And that seemed to turn people. This, I would think, is a lot along the same lines. You cannot manage a secret. It looks like they tried to manage a secret.
When we think about that in terms of conspiracy theories here and managing a secret, I mean, it's interesting that we originally only saw a certain portion of the video, and there were a lot of people out there saying, well, you didn't see what really happened. You know, she attacked him first, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I would argue, I don't care either way. I don't care who attacked who. The reality is there's a woman being dragged unconscious out of an elevator, and that's tragic. But when you do go and you see that video, and it's very disturbing, you realize that anything that they might have tried to peddle in terms of, well, it was her fault, completely untrue.
Well, you had the team tweeting the fact that she apologized for her role in the incident. You had the team's public relations director writing a story. The title was, I Like Ray Rice. This was in the wake of the incident, and the owner, Steve Bisciotti, said, I'm not going to tell you not to write it, but one, I don't think Ray needs it, and two, you're not going to convert anybody's opinion. but he went out there anyway. How does that look now?
Yeah. So, I mean, where do we go from here? I mean, Roger Goodell now coming out, you know, as you said, he blew it. He's trying to make up for lost time here. You contrast him with, say, Adam Silver and the NBA and the success they had in immediately dealing with Donald Sterling, and you say, can the NFL recover from this?
Well, it's a good question. I think, you know, by the way, with the NBA, there's a question as to whether or not there's now an overreaction to some of the things that are going on there. But
we didn't even get to the Hawks.
Right. But with the NFL, where do you go? Well, I think people are probably going to still be watching on Sunday, to Scott's earlier point. So where's the outrage?
You wonder what could possibly derail this freight train that is the NFL. They make more revenue without creating new product. They just sell what they already have and make more money each time.